Again, if you have questions, I'd appreciate if you use the microphones in both aisles.
Thank you, Bishop. You have prepared your material. I came to listen. I would love to have you finish what you've done right here.
Want to do that?
Yes, please.
Darn it, I thought I was going to get out early. The steward in biblical times. This is simply taken from the bishop's pastoral letter itself, and it gives you a couple of texts that speak about stewardship. And above all, I would commend to you the Gospel of Luke. Luke is always dealing with individuals who are challenged to manage and to fructify, to cause to bear fruit realities. And our Lord talks to people and says, you know, the wise steward is the one who takes care of what he's been given and it acts responsibly, doesn't beat up the other servants, is on the watch all the time. At any rate, the background here, and this is taken from the text itself, says the oikonomos, or the steward, is one to whom the owner of a household turns over the responsibility for caring for the property, for managing the affairs, for making resources yield as much as possible, and sharing the resources with others. The position involves trust and accountability. We're going to hear a series of parables towards the end of November. I'm actually preparing a column on one of them right now. Joe Sinisek, you'll get it later in the week. It's about the steward, about the master who gave to 3 individuals the challenge of stewarding a talent. Actually, the parable in Luke's Gospel is everybody gets 1 talent. And somebody produces 10 with it, and some 5, and the person with the 1 buried it in the ground, buried it in a napkin. But the one in Matthew's Gospel is that each one is given talents according to their ability. So they're given money, talents. A talent was a large sum of money, and is told to trade with it. And the one who has 5 makes 5, and the one who had 2 makes 2. So you see, each gets 100% yield on it. You would expect then that the one with 1 would at least get 1 back, but he buried it in the ground. What's interesting is that the stewards in those parables grasp the challenge and make that challenge their own. And I think this is really what a steward is. A steward is really acting in the person of the owner. And God is the owner of all that we have and all that we offer. And he is the one who moves us to bear fruit and to be accountable and responsible. I'm just going to skip over the time, talent, and treasure aspect for a moment. What I would simply say is that these are challenges for us to share in gratitude what we have received with our family, with our community, with the church, and with society. I remember when I heard one of my first talks on stewardship. It was given by Bishop Morneau, and then there was Jim Kelly came from Charlotte, North Carolina, and he spoke about the need to see ourselves as serving not only our church but the wider community. And one of the examples was given was to go and serve at the food bank, which was something that served all of the town, all of the city. When I'm trying to figure out why I should continue to be the chancellor of a university that's no longer officially Catholic, I see it as the presence of the church making a contribution to our society of Halifax and to our community of Nova Scotia. And since our students come from all around the world to the greater community. Sometimes it's simply giving a challenging talk or sitting in on boring board meetings, but nonetheless it's a contribution. It's my time, my energy, my intellectual capacity shared with the other community outside the church. The steward's intentionality is tied into this principle I was giving to you earlier about decision making. Often, what grabs our attention is not what is most important. Often what grabs our attention is what's most insistent. Have you ever gone down to stand in a line and wait to buy tickets for a show, and you're just getting up to the ticket wicket, and the person's going to serve you, and the phone rings? And the person leaves you and answers the phone. You're there, it's important for you to get the tickets, but the telephone is more insistent than you are. Now, maybe that's a dated analogy, because today they probably go on a button and push number 1 for this and number 2 for that. But that's the kind of issue, and I find that in my office every day. You know, I've got very important things to do, but sometimes somebody will knock on the door, or somebody will ring the phone, or there's a phone call, and all of a sudden my intentionality has been redirected. And I think this is often the challenge for a steward, is to see that his or her time, his or her talents, his or her treasure needs to be directed not at what is most insistent, but at what's most important. And I think this is really where discernment comes in. This is the, again, Ignatian terminology or Jesuit terminology, the discernment of what is the greater good. The motto of the Jesuit order is, for the greater glory of God. Much of what we do is good. Much of what we do is excellent, but it's not the best that we could do. And I think that's really where we need to look.